You might think pirates spent most of their time sword fighting and hunting treasure, but their biggest enemy wasn't other sailors or royal navies. It was something much simpler: finding clean water to drink. Let me tell you something funny about sailing in the 1700s. Ships could carry enough salted meat and hardtack to feed a crew for months, but water? That stuff turned into a disgusting soup of algae and bacteria faster than you could say, yo ho ho. The average pirate needed at least a gallon of water every day just to stay alive in the scorching heat of the Caribbean. Do the math. For a crew of 50 pirates, that's 50 gallons daily. No wonder water was more valuable than gold sometimes. Here's where things get interesting and kind of gross. Some desperate pirates actually tried drinking seawater when they ran out of fresh water. Bad idea. Really bad idea. Seawater has about 3.5% salt content, which is way more than our bodies can handle. Drinking it basically tells your kidneys, hey, time to work overtime. Your body uses more water trying to get rid of all that salt than the amount of water you drank in the first place. Some pirates learned this the hard way, and let's just say it wasn't pretty. I once read about a pirate ship that had been running low on water for days, and some crew members were so thirsty they started drinking seawater mixed with wine, thinking the alcohol would make it safe. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Most of them got violently sick, and it actually made their situation way worse. Now, you'd think someone would have come up with a better solution, but remember, this was long before plastic containers or water purification systems. The best they could do was try to keep their water in the coolest part of the ship, usually in the hold below deck. But even then, the rolling of the ship, the heat, and the humidity meant that clean water was always a precious commodity. The water situation got so bad sometimes that pirates would completely change their planned routes just because they heard about a freshwater spring on some random island. Imagine being the most feared pirates in the Caribbean, but having to make a detour because you're dying for a drink of clean water. Talk about ruining your fearsome reputation. Speaking of reputations, there's a lesser-known story about the infamous Blackbeard. Everyone knows him as this terrifying pirate who put smoking fuses in his beard to scare people. But what most don't know is that he was actually pretty clever about water management. He would specifically target ships that he knew were carrying fresh water supplies along with their cargo. Smart guy, right? When things got really desperate, pirates had to turn to their most reliable backup plan, the sky itself. And trust me, when those rain clouds appeared on the horizon, you'd never see a crew move faster to their positions. The moment a storm rolled in, the entire ship transformed into one giant water-catching machine. The deck became busier than a seafood market on discount day. Pirates actually had a whole system worked out for catching rain. The sails, those massive sheets of canvas that usually caught the wind, became giant funnels when tilted just right. During storms, you'd see crew members adjusting the sails at specific angles, creating what they called water channels. Sometimes they'd fight over who got to position which sail because everyone knew the forward sails caught the cleanest water. Less bird poop to deal with, if you know what I mean. The clever part was how they used every single surface on the ship. Those wooden railing gutters that usually kept seawater from washing across the deck. During rainstorms, they became water highways, channeling precious fresh water straight into waiting containers. Some creative pirates even carved extra grooves into the deck planking to help guide more water toward their collection points. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Pun totally intended. Rain collection came with its own set of problems. First off, the initial rain that hit the ship was usually pretty dirty. Birds had been doing their business on those sails for weeks, and the salt from sea spray had built up everywhere. Smart pirates would let the first few minutes of rainfall wash everything clean before they started collecting. They called it letting the deck have its bath. Here's a funny detail most history books don't mention. During big storms, you'd see pirates running around with their hats upside down trying to catch extra water. Some would even strip off their shirts and wring them out into containers. One account from a Spanish merchant ship describes watching a pirate crew looking like they were doing some bizarre rain dance when really they were just trying to maximize their water collection. But you couldn't always count on rain. Sometimes ships would go weeks without seeing a single cloud. That's when pirates got really creative with their water preservation techniques. They had strict rules about water usage, even stricter than the rules about fighting or sharing treasure. Breaking the water rules could get you in more trouble than stealing from the captain himself. There's this great story about a pirate ship called the Morning Star, where the crew caught so much rain during one storm that they had enough water for 2 extra weeks at sea. They celebrated